Yeah, so what I want to talk about today is using Snagit in conjunction with YouTube. Okay, screen capture tool, and then a place to archive it and disseminate that information, whether it's in teaching, whether it's in business, whether it's friends and family, recording something from your computer and then posting it on YouTube and using YouTube, as that kind of archiving tool. All right, so let's look at Snagit. Snagit's $30 for educational. It's $50 for a normal license for lifetime. The periodic upgrades, I'm sure, but it's worth every penny in time saving. All right, it records MPEG-4s, which Jing records Swifts. Swifts, Flash, in my opinion, are outdated. There's problems with the Flash players, etc. So Snagit, to me, was the most efficient way to go because it's made by the same company as Jing. Okay, now you can go with Screencast-O-Matic. In other words, we're talking about, this is specifically for Snagit, but I mean, if you don't, if you want to go free for some, if you don't have $30 or the $49.95, you can go with Screencast-O-Matic. But let's talk about Snagit because I just really like the interface. If you're used to Jing, then this will be just a natural kind of upgrade. So you can see that it has buttons down here. And I have added my button. You can add and take, they've actually given you a bunch of buttons in case you want to upload to Google Drive, to Facebook, probably to Screencast. We'll talk about why I don't like Screencast in a minute. But, here's the YouTube button. And actually, I just started an upload. So let's click on not System Prefs. Let's click on Snagit Preferences. Okay. And you can see here's my YouTube button. Now, I use Snagit to make critiques for students, and I want those critiques to be unlisted, not private, because that would then I'd have to have a login, email login for every student. But unlisted, you have to have the link to view it. And as you can see here, when like in this case, my critiques button, it's all unlisted. So everything I upload, using this button, it's going to be unlisted. All right. And you can see my username here. Let's jump into the whole kind of like accessing YouTube. You've got to, just like in anything else, like in Screencast, you're going to have to log into an account. And YouTube is owned by Google. So it's basically, you need a Gmail account. And you can, for those of you that don't want to be on social media, for the few of you that, or whatever reason, don't want to be on Facebook or any of those other social platforms, look, you don't need to have your public Gmail account. You can create like an anonymous Gmail account here to, for these tools to work. All right. So anyway, let me just create a button here for you, and I'm going to create another YouTube button, and I'm going to call this tutorials. Okay, because I want the option of what I record. I want it to either be, okay, hold on. I want it to either be private, or I want to be able to click on a button and upload it and be public. Like my tutorials, I like being public as long as they don't have any proprietary information in there. So I'm going to select public tutorials. I need to put in my login information, and my username is my email, and my password, if I can remember, of the many passwords, it validates, and there's my new button. Okay, so now when I go over here, you can see I have a new YouTube button. So I can do a critique, or I can capture something. I can send off something to friends, family, students, coworkers, and I have the option of either uploading it to my YouTube, my unlisted, area in YouTube, or my public area in YouTube. Okay, and the way Screencast works, of course, is let's say I wanted to, I don't know if this will work, with a recording within a recording, but I would drag a window and I would hit record, and I want to make sure that my audio is going through my Yeti stereo microphone. and I would hit record, and it works just like, if you're familiar with Jing, it would, it records, and when you're done, it processes it, and then you upload it, and then it gives you a link, and you paste that link or you email that link, and when you click on it, it plays the recording in a perfect world, okay? So that's how Snagit works. Get it, download a free trial. The only permissions, people complain about maybe once in a while there'd be permissions problems or something. If I was logged into YouTube, if I was logged in right now, which I am, okay, with my jeffprentice.gmail account, but I'm going to talk about accounts here real quick. If I was logged in maybe to my other generic unlisted account, then there might be an issue, with using these buttons. In other words, it helps to be, while I'm uploading to my critiques to my unlisted area, it might help if I'm logged in to that account here online, so that Snagit doesn't say, hey, I can't upload to that because you don't have permission to do that. All right, so it's just really easy. You just make sure that I'm logged in here before I'm uploading from here. And frankly, I don't even know if that's a problem, but if you did have a permission area, that would be the first thing I would look into. Okay, so YouTube. Why YouTube? Well, YouTube's part of Google, and Google, I think a lot of us are moving towards Google Communities, Google Hangouts. Google's big. Google has great tools. You can see all my communities. I've got a bunch of communities and different things going on, and it looks the same over here, right? My profile and everything is the same as what you see over here in YouTube. So if you're familiar with Google, then you should be familiar with YouTube. And you can see I'm switching accounts, okay? So I've got one account. To create an account, let's say you're a total newbie to YouTube, and it's a little bit daunting. Just, create a Gmail account. And it can be one that you want to use, like here I've got jeff.prentice@gmail.com, but you'll notice when I wanted to create another YouTube account, I created one called Jeff Prentice Teach FND at gmail.com, okay? So it's not like I'm giving up, this profile. It's not like just because you go in and you create a Gmail account doesn't mean you're giving up all your privacy and your contacts and your personal information, which personally I don't think is an issue nowadays anyway. I mean, it's just part of the nature of existence, but it shouldn't be an issue. So you would create an account, go to YouTube and, go through the creating a profile, creating an account, and then make sure that information is here. So you have a username and a password, and a username is your Gmail, and you go over to Snagit, and you make sure that the button that you create has your username. Whoops, there I go uploading again. Username and a password, and you should be able to upload to YouTube. Now here's the beauty, okay? These are a bunch of critiques. And I don't want these to be seen. See, here's a duplicate upload, right? I rejected it. That's good. I don't want these to be seen publicly. I want to be able to paste this link into the classroom and have the student be able to view it. And that works beautifully. And while it's uploading in the classroom, I type in a few comments and then paste the link in, and everything's great. And I can see these now. Another thing I like about YouTube is that it's a universal interface. Your students, people are probably, this is one of the most used apps. I mean, I don't know anybody that doesn't go on YouTube, So it's pretty easy interface. I can see here, for example, as an instructor, the beautiful thing is I can go through and look at all of my critiques I did, and I can also see the views, the number of views. I can see that's been viewed twice, been once, 0 views. That's not good. 0 views, not good. 0 views, not good. 0 views, not good. 2 views, 3 views, 1 view. Okay, everything's fine. So, I mean, for me as an instructor, if I can look over here real quickly and see that this person has not viewed my critique, and then I go into the classroom and I can see that they're struggling still, I can say, hey, you're not viewing my critiques, and I might not even want to be doing video critiques, so let me know, because I don't want to spend all my time on video critiques if you're not going to be seeing them. That's a private conversation, okay? Here you can see critiques, the link to your capture is ready to be pasted. All right. Now, so that's the beauty, is that I have a place here where I can archive my critiques. They're all unlisted. Now, what about my tutorials? Okay. Another nice thing about YouTube is that it's way faster than screencast. Okay. You know, hugely. All right. I mean, I can upload like a 5-minute file that previously might have taken 5 minutes, and it goes, and I swear when everything's working right, it's like 30 seconds. But you can't just, you know, assume. In other words, you can't blame if it's not uploading fast to YouTube. You can't just automatically point the finger at YouTube. Although YouTube does have, like anything else, sometimes it has issues, right? But you want to test your speed, okay? If we're talking about screen capture and uploading to anywhere and you're encountering problems, permission problems usually log in, right, to accounts. If we're talking about upload, you know, taking a long time to upload, the first thing you want to eliminate are any issues with your ISP. So you go to speedtest.net and you run a test. Make sure you have your if you're using VPN, a virtual network, make sure that's off, because that will throttle your connectivity hugely. Now, I'm not at the lowest, you know, I have Cox, and I pay like a little bit more every month for a little bit faster, but I don't by any means have the fastest connection speed. All right, but look, 32 megabits a second is fine for downloads for me. And upload speeds, this is actually going to be pretty good. All right. I mean, it looks to me like it's going to be around 6.7 megabits a second. That's killer. Now, if you have AT&T, I switched to AT&T for like 3 days. AT&T, the fastest I could get was, for like without paying an arm and a leg, was 1.5 megabits a second upload, and that was. I don't know if that would be an issue with your uploads, but if I had to pick between, you know, 6.7 and 1.5, and it wasn't even getting 1.5. So, you know, check that out. Find out what your download and upload speeds are, so you can eliminate that from the equation as far as like problems in uploading. All right. Now, let's go to, let's end up with this. Let's go over to my, my channel. Now, another reason I like YouTube is that, you know, especially if you're in teaching, you might have a web page where you have your own artwork, where you have your teaching support. You know, here I have all my tutorials. This is where I direct people professionally to my resources. And it's part of branding. It's part of identity, okay? And I'm also using Google for that. You know, my communities is my a hangout, my Google community. I mean, and on Facebook I have an identity, right? So YouTube, you're going to find that a lot of times these things work in conjunction. You're going to have a Facebook page, you're going to have a Google Plus page, you're going to have a YouTube channel, okay? And a channel is your presence, your brand, your identity, and especially since I'm I'm speaking to instructors, this is where you as a teacher, independent of where you teach, might establish yourself. And the nice thing about, you know, a channel is basically your YouTube presence, and on that you can have playlists. So, you know, on my other account that I showed you, that's just for critiques. You know, after a while, I can delete all those, clean them up, I can archive them. Right? No one goes there except for me and the students. However, here I have playlists. I have basic Photoshop and Foundations lectures. I have, I'm not very organized, right? I mean, I'm not as organized as I should be, so I also have some overlap with some previously made things like Photoshop tutorials, miscellaneous teaching. I don't know, I've got home improvement, art and design, family and friends, travel, SUP, kayak, and fishing. Those are all playlists where I put videos, okay, that I've made or that I like, right? Okay, and if I want to look at my videos, you can see here, I can see the number of views. I've got 20 views. These are new, so they don't have very many views, and they're probably just my students, but when I've disseminated these out to other people, I have 150 views. You know, some of these tutorials have maybe a couple thousand views. So, I mean, if you did a really killer tutorial or something, maybe it could go viral. I don't know. But anyway, it's kind of nice seeing, how many people actually watch these things. And again, to get back to using Snagit and YouTube, you've got your menu over here. You've got a very easy to navigate interface. You can see the videos. You can click on these, and you can have them public facing. With your lectures, drawing forms with Wacom, adding gray, asymmetry. As long as you keep the classroom out of it, classroom specific, as long as you make it generic, you can face it to the public, and other people in other areas can access these and watch them, and you can extend your brand. So, but just to get back to the technology, try it out. Download a free trial of Snagit, create a YouTube account, play with it, make sure the privacy settings are set the way you want them, if you're doing a critique, make sure it's unlisted, and play with that, and do a little research on your own, on how to use YouTube, how to create channels, what's a playlist. I mean, you can have entire playlists with privacy settings, etc. But hopefully this helps to give you kind of an introduction and an overview of how you can use, these tools in communication.